Welcome to Bimbo Summit. I'm Sarah, and I can't wake up from this nightmare.
My name is Izzy, and I am so happy to be in this beautiful nightmare.
Hi everybody, my name's Dylan, and I just wanged my knee really hard on my metal desk, so in a way, I'm living a nightmare too.
Prayers for Dylan's wanged knee.
My
Prayers
knee got
for Dylan's wanged knee.
it's all wanged up.
The knee is the center of the brain.
It's where my nervous system is entirely located. Is in my right knee where I wanged it.
The knee is the eyes of the face.
Yeah, as they say.
All right, everybody. This is the knee wang episode where we talk about the worst things ever happened to our knees and the worst times we ever wanged them. Is that right? I didn't read the show notes.
Yeah, that's it. This is the notes.
Worst time we ever wanged him.
Oh man. Well, let me tell you about my moped accident.
Oh yeah, when you were on a cruise ship.
Well, I wasn't on a cruise ship at the time. I was at a
see a lizard and crash?
Well, I saw a lizard right before, and I think I was so excited about it that then after I crashed pretty bad. But yeah, it was rough. I was in on the island of Bonaire in the Dutch Antilles doing a shore excursion, sort of a make your own shore excursion. Person I was with was like, "Let's rent these mopeds," and I was like, "I don't know. I've never driven a moped, and I don't have a driver's license, and I'm very, very unwieldy." And we've had 6 mojitos already. And she was like, "Don't worry about it. Just get on this moped. And then you're not going to crash." And then I crashed, and I wanged my knee really bad. So bad that it still makes a weird noise when I bend it, and it's quiet.
Damn.
Did you have to get wang surgery?
I didn't have to get wang surgery, no.
Did you have to immobilize your wang?
I did have to return the moped and tell a guy with like a straight face that it's fine and I didn't crash it, even though I was bleeding heavily from both knees.
You're like, no, this is unrelated.
I was bleeding from both of my knees and my right elbow, soaking. I was wearing a white shirt, and it was like there was like blood all through my like white long sleeve shirt. And he was like, "Don't lie to me," and I was like, "Lie? What?"
Good thing you're like America's most accomplished liar.
Yeah, I don't think it translates,
In
culturally.
the Dutch Antilles, right? You're
He
not
did
in
not
America,
believe me.
so-
What language do they speak in the Dutch Antilles?
A bunch. They speak a lot of them speak Dutch. A lot of them speak Spanish. A lot of them speak a sort of a Creole language that's sort of a combination of a bunch of different native languages and some Dutch thrown in there and some Spanish words. And there's a bunch of Korean people living there too. So it's sort of a
Ooh, did you get good Korean food when you were there?
No, I was only there for like 5 hours. And I wanged myself really hard.
In that 5 hours, you managed to crash a moped.
You saw
Yeah.
a lizard.
Yeah, but you saw a lizard.
I saw a lizard, I ate lunch, I crashed a moped, and I lied to a nice businessman.
This episode is about when your mind and your body conspire to wang your soul.
Today we're going to be talking about sleep paralysis. That's the headliner, and the opening act is a local mystery. A mystery that is plaguing a resident in our hometown of Bloomington, Indiana.
Hey, Bimbo Summit. This is Katie Hayden from Bloomington, Indiana. Big fan of the pod. Hey, so I have a local mystery that I would love for you guys to investigate. I drive on Walnut Street every single day, and I see this sign for this local building. And the sign just says, "The Groovy Grotto." And then I think below it, it says, "A Swanky Boutique." But it's like, what even is that? I don't even know if there's like windows in the building. You can't really tell what it is. Like, I don't think they even have a website. It's super weird, but it's been there forever. Nobody knows what it is. I don't know what it is. It survived the pandemic, so it's gotta like be something. My secret theory is that it's like some weird swingers club, but like there's maybe like 2 couples, so it's like not actually a club, and it's just some like weird, gross place that they like call a grotto to like make it sound sexy. I don't know. Lots to unpack there. Love the pod. You guys are great. Keep being awesome. Bye.
Katie, thank you so much for calling. I have seen this sign before, I'm realizing.
The Groovy Grotto is a place I have also persistently wondered about. Because the sign has been up since about 2011, but it seems totally shuttered. If you want to look into this on your own, it's on the south side of town where College and Walnut, right after College and Walnut merge back into one street, and it has a very 1950s like pink and green and yellow sign that says the Groovy Grotto, a swank boutique. Any guesses, you two, on what kind of establishment this is? What would a Groovy Grotto sell?
Well, boutique would suggest that they sell something, either antique or an expensive new thing. But the signage would imply that it's like 50s diner style.
Yeah.
Like kitsch antique, not like a rustic farmhouse antique.
My guess would be like one of those stores where they go to Goodwill every week and they buy things at Goodwill and then they sell them for way more money. Whatever you call it. Vintage stores. I don't know what you call those. But they're a menace.
Thrift vultures. Call them what they are.
Thrift vultures.
Parasites.
Valor
Parasites. Close your Depop shop. If you have a Depop shop, you're sus.
You're going to hell. It's in the Bible.
It is, yeah, that is
If you have a
canon.
Depop shop, you're going to hell. It's in the Bible.
That's right.
And God said unto them, close your Depop. It's stolen valor.
Yeah, and there's nothing left for the little guy.
So, Dylan, you have a thought about what the Groovy Grotto might be? As he says, vintage.
Well, I think it's a Depop shop with a storefront. I think that it should be shut down. I think it should be legal. And I love that it survived the pandemic. I think a lot of things survived the pandemic that just the fewer employees you had, I think the easier it was, right? I think like you just could, take a PPP loan and then just pocket the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you're like okay, there's a store down the street from me that earlier today I was just like, how the hell did they survive the pandemic? Because they're in like pretty prime real estate and they're a novelty t-shirt store called Dirty Tees. And you can't see in their windows because they're tinted dark.
Is it maybe just a front?
I wonder. I'm too scared to go in, and I don't want to go in. They have like a couple like hilarious, innuendo T-shirts in their window, but it's like tinted, so it's kind of hard to see them, and you can't see inside of it. But I'm like, of course, they just like pocketed $500,000 or whatever, and I think it's a scam. I think they scammed Joe Biden. I think they scammed us all.
Well, I've got some news for you, which is that they did not survive the pandemic because they have been closed since 2014.
Oh my God.
However,
the sign has been up.
The sign is still there. Okay, so I looked into this. The Groovy Grotto was extant as a storefront from 2011 to 2014. They did sell antiques. A lot of my information comes from a Herald Times hotline question that was like, what happened to the Groovy Grotto? So some valiant Herald Times reporter did some digging and found out that the Groovy Grotto stocked retro furniture, furnishings, and threads. I don't know what the difference between...
Threads.
I guess furniture is the stuff and furnishings is the stuff you put on the stuff. And threads is the stuff
Do they
you
mean
put on
clothes?
your body. Yeah,
Threads means
is clothes.
I was hoping...
Furnishings and furniture, I don't know what distinguishes them.
Furniture is the shelf, and the little ceramic
The tchotchke.
knockoff Mickey Mouse is the furnishing.
Like pillows
Yeah.
and lamps are furnishing. The former proprietor says that they sold mid-century modern type furniture and items. It was a specialized antique store. I probably have not yet gone on record to say that mid-century modern design is my personal enemy. I want to fight it. If I ever see another one of those tables where the legs go out instead of being straight, I'm going to get real upset, and I don't want to see those.
The legs
Yeah,
go
you know those
out.
like the mid-century modern furniture where like it has those like hairpin
like
legs.
a 45
yeah.
degree angle. Yeah.
Oh, this is awkward because I'm actually recording this as we speak, sitting in my my authentic 1950s Ames chair.
I'm gonna tell Herman Miller.
Yeah, and I'm staring at my got off the street hairpin desk.
And
I've seen some beautiful examples of mid-century modern design. I just don't appreciate its ubiquity. I don't want to buy a plant stand that is made out of some kind of horrible wood unless it looks like it came from a dead person's house who died like 100 years ago. when I see mid-century modern furniture, it makes me think about like people killing themselves in the suburbs.
So you're a gatekeeper. You're like, oh, you can't have the thing I like because when you guys like it, it's lame. But when I like it, it's authentic.
No, but I don't like it.
I love my 1952 Ames chair, and my sort of a polymer side table here that's got my Pinot Grigio on it. And, it's got kind of like a tripod leg. It's almost like space sort of inspired.
You know what I mean when I say...
Is that why you don't like my house, or is it because of, like, the hamburger furniture?
No, I think your house is very well decorated. Truly, there are, like...
Every time I send you a picture of my house, you're like, it is evil, God shall smite.
Well, you send me pictures of, like, a lamp that looks like it's made out of bread.
Yeah, like that.
So,
I love my bread lamp. And it is made of bread. It's not a joke. It's real
really?
bread. It's real bread. Yes, it's bread that someone baked and then coated in resin. I think it's so cool.
Wow. You ever go to your local retro 1950s sort of inspired drive-in movie theater with like a, you know, with the
personal one?
Yeah, Sarah, do you ever go to your local one and you go, I can't be here with this. Look, the sign is a 50s Chevrolet, you know, and the logo has a rocket ship. Does that make you sick?
Is actually old.
Yeah, does that
makes me
Does that make
fucking
you sick when you see the logo is the 60s ass looking rocket ship logo with like those stars that were on everything in the 60s that were like
There's
all
actually
long?
a lot of...
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Those long ass stars. I know what you mean. No, I actually like things that are genuinely old a lot of the time. Although like some of that like lacquered mirrored stuff is really depressing to me. But I love like Lustron homes, which are like a very, very ugly 1950s and 60s, like, or I guess 50s, piece of like kind of kitsch ephemera. Some of that stuff is like very cool and interesting. I think I just don't like its ubiquity in modern design.
Do you like anything new?
Well, what kind of is this? Like,
I feel like the root of your problem is you don't like anything new.
Man, it's just so weird, like, listening to this.
It's the people versus Sarah today.
Yeah, it's like I'm listening to Sarah complain about stuff while I'm sitting in my 1950s original Ames chair, with, you know, my Pinot Grigio glass resting on a rocket ship inspired table, and then you know, staring right at me is a cardboard cutout of Betty Page. So I don't know what Sarah's talking about. She's really attacking my core identity.
You know what phrase I really don't like is vintage inspired.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Like when you go to Target and everything for some reason is like, it's just those horrible plant stands that have the white ceramic pot and then the like legs that go above the pot made of wood.
I love those.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Don't listen to her, cardboard cutout of Betty Page.
Oh yeah, Dylan's really into rockabilly.
Yeah, I'm into rockabilly.
Oh man. Okay, the Groovy Grotto.
Oh yeah.
And Psychobilly.
I'm gonna fucking
Don't
kill
forget
you.
about
I used to
Psychobilly.
love Psychobilly.
I love
There's a
Psychobilly.
Psychobilly band that I really liked. They had an upright bass.
Tiger Army.
I love that.
No, a different one.
I'm gonna tell everyone you're America's biggest Tiger Army fan.
I'm not even sure what they sound like, but go ahead, see if I care.
They kind of sound like if AFI was like had an upright bass.
You know how everybody has to like specialize when they turn 30, you know, where everybody has to like X alternative people have to like go down a road.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for like
They didn't
for
make
women,
choice.
but for dudes who are like formerly punk, you have to kind of choose between like rockabilly and like it's like rockabilly guy, hockey guy, or like classic rock sort of jazzy bluesy guy.
Yeah.
And I'm going full rockabilly.
Or you can get really into like cycling.
Yeah, that's true. So there's cycling guy, rockabilly guy, and hockey guy.
Woodworking.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
But I'm gonna
Sign
get
painting.
I actually just ordered while we were talking, I actually just ordered a 10-pack of white t-shirts, white V-necks with that are a size too small on Amazon.
Guys.
Oh my gosh, that is such a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mystery of why the Groovy Grotto sign is still there is that the people who ran the Groovy Grotto still own the building. And for a time, possibly still now, you can call their number, which is given in this Herald Times article, and I will give to anyone who messages us, that they do still do some like private purchasing. So if you call up the proprietors at this number and you say like, I want a mid-century modern fucking plant stand, you know, they'll go find you some.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
Yeah. Is it good to know? You don't even
Yeah,
live
well,
here.
for me.
That's good to know for Dylan.
Yeah, we're not going through this again, but
The HT
I
says
like it.
you can give them a ring-a-ling.
Oh, I love that.
Do you think there's any truth to Katie's hypothesis?
Yes. Not to commit a slander. I mean, I'm very carefully, like, not saying these people's names so that I can maybe do a mild slander, but, like...
Okay.
What is the point of having that sign still up? Is it pure, like, these people have depression and they just, like, can't be bothered to take it down? Or is it some kind of signal to others that they want to know, you know, this is the place to come and get your butthole popped by other 55-year-olds in Hawaiian shirts?
I bet it's both. I mean, I bet when they had to then they had to close the actual retail store, they thought, well, you know, the thing we do on the side for fun, how about we kind of turn that into a business? What do we still, we're out of inventory. We can't keep the store open, but what we can do is have people over to our discreet location here.
Right.
It's the perfect cover. Meet me at the Groovy Grotto. No one would suspect a thing.
That's also part of my theory of why a certain Bloomington bakery, which no longer exists, but you can still buy their bread in grocery stores, perhaps stayed open as a storefront longer than it should have. Because there's
I used to work there.
certain rumors about what went on after hours.
So there you have it, Groovy Grotto. There is a precedence for this in Bloomington, Indiana, so I think it's fair to say that it is an option, that it is a swingers club.
Yeah, could very
I met
well
a
be.
woman who told me that she was a member of a swingers buffet in Indianapolis.
Oh, what?
So if you
Is
want,
that real?
Yes, it's a buffet
Wait,
supper club.
Okay, it's not a sexual buffet. It's a buffet that becomes sexual.
You're gonna have to bleep some of this.
Or is it simultaneous?
Okay,
yuck.
so this was
This is now a gossip
Is this a
okay,
thing where you
get
eat
ready,
sushi
hand
off
on
a
the
girl?
buzzer. You ready to bleep this? My friend, you ready to bleep that? Did you bleep it? Yeah, but my friend's aunt, when we went on that cruise, talked a lot about her swinger buffet club, which was like, I guess, a private dinner club. Is like, there's like a small sign. It's in Indianapolis, and you have to like join, and you have to be like approved by the other members of the supper club. But what it really is it's a buffet in the front with booths and tables and stuff, and then in the back it's a orgy room.
I hope they have a sneeze guard.
Yeah. So it's not exactly like a business you can walk into, but it is like, pretends to be like a dinner buffet that's like a private food club.
Oh, Dylan, can you tell that story of the time that you went into the poorhouse and discovered the documents?
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, we're
Oh my
telling
god,
gossip.
I forgot about that.
So when I was like a teen, I think, I was definitely a teen. Were either of you there or no?
No, I just
don't
remember you
I was
telling
with
us.
I was a teen, and I was with a group of punk adults who shouldn't have been hanging out with me because I was a teen.
Classic.
And the thing to do, and this is before this is before I made any content at all of any type, which is a shame, because the mission that day was for me to drink a coffee from every coffee shop in Bloomington, a city of about 100,000 with, I don't know, 15 coffee shops, I think, at this point.
Something like that, yeah.
And there is, for those of you not familiar with Bloomington, Indiana, there is a Christian volunteer-run, or volunteer-worked, not run, coffee shop right downtown that is basically like kind of an outreach ministry for a church, basically, but also a coffee shop. And I went there. It was like my 5th stop, so I was feeling pretty jittery, and I went down into the basement because the door was unlocked, and I was like 17, and I was bad. But I was like, oh, they got this nice basement down here, and so I just like walked down there. My group of people just walked down there, and there was this room with couches and stuff, and on the table were a bunch of meeting agendas with minutes, and I picked them up and read them, and they were for a meeting. That there was a meeting agenda, and then there was also like a mission plan where they talked about combating Bloomington's secular culture.
Understandable.
They specifically outlined the secular culture of competing coffee shop Soma and the secular culture of the Monroe County Public Library. As sort of, they named Soma and the library as competition, which I really loved, like competition for souls, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was just really insanely worded. It was like secret, it was like very secretive. It was very like, we must compete with, like, it was like, the section was called like winning the hearts and minds, or whatever. It was like, we must draw traffic away from competitive third spaces such as Soma and the public library, which is across the street. Right across the street, to like draw people in, and instead of getting them in there, then that way, as a venue for like, spreading their mission. And then there was all these like, things about how they could like play, subtle ways to like, like push their agenda or whatever. And like, it was like, oh, we only play like Christian music that's contemporary, and then like quietly, so no one will notice. And there was going to be like literature around, just sort of laying around, or like books that like fit their purpose. And there was like a list of books and stuff. Like, it was really insane. It was like a 10-page document. I love that
you could like subliminally influence people to be religious by quietly playing Christian music that they don't notice.
That was their plan, was to like go to war with the public library so that teens wouldn't hang out. The juggalos in front of the public library would come into their Christian coffee shop and be subliminally influenced by like, I don't know, Christian contemporary adult music.
You know who's much better at evangelizing than the Poorhouse Cafe?
The juggalos.
ICP. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
They don't need God. They have it.
Why do you think religion is like declining? Like, why do you think Christianity is doing so poorly? The numbers do not lie. It's going down. Like, it's declining. Juggalos only picking up speed.
ICP are Christian.
Yeah, I know, but like, yeah, so are Mormons. It's sort of a, it's like it's sort of a, they're related, but I don't remember the part in the Bible about the Dark Carnival.
The Dark Carnival's hell, dude.
I know, it's different though. I'm just saying that they could take, whatever, like mainstream nerd Christians, they could take a page out of the ICP book and start, getting Hatchet Man tattoos.
Yeah.
Or, start getting fucked up.
People volunteer, like they didn't get paid,
so
or, like, they donated their wages or something.
Only the managers get paid, typically, I guess, or this is what I was told, 10 years ago. But only the managers, I guess, get paid. Or if you've been there for like a long time as a volunteer, they'll be like, hey, do you want to be a shift manager? And then I think you get paid $8. But even the tips, I found out that the tips don't go to and I think they're more transparent about it now. There's like a sign on the tip jar.
They're actually also closed.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
but only as of like I think the last year.
They've returned to God's kingdom, where they started. But yeah, the tip jar like went to various dubious Christian mission charities in Africa and South America, rather than to the employees who worked for free.
Who here has experienced sleep paralysis?
Me, no.
Me, yes.
I'm raising my hand.
You're raising, and Dylan, yes.
Yeah.
I've had it. It happens to me somewhat often if I'm having like kind of a shitty night's sleep, where I'll kind of wake up in the middle of the night and I won't be able to move. But I think I probably get it really mild, because if I can do that like Kill Bill wiggle your big toe thing, where I like will myself to move a tiny bit of my foot, and then I can like kind of shake it off. But usually if I have it, it will happen like a couple times in one night. But I never have it like so bad that I'm like seeing weird shit. I think people who really have it, it's like, it's pretty all encompassing. That only happened to me. The first time I ever had it, I was like taking a nap and I was lying on my stomach. I think it's worse when I lie on my stomach. And I like napped for too long, and then when I woke up I couldn't move, and I was like hearing stuff that definitely was not really happening. But that was the only time I ever had it like somewhat bad.
I get it during naps a lot too, which is weird.
I think it happens
way more often.
Because doesn't it happen when you like your brain wakes up during a part of your sleep cycle where you're not supposed to be awake?
It must. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense that would happen in a nap, because you're not like settling in for long enough to go through several cycles. You're like potentially waking up in the middle of one.
I get it like I'd say like twice a year to quarterly. Mm-hmm. And it's almost always during a nightmare. It's like, which is the worst. It's like always like I'm trapped by something in my dream, or what, I'm being like held down and murdered or whatever. It's always something like that. and then I'm trying to get away and I can't move my body for some reason that like might make sense in the context of the dream, and then I realize that I'm dreaming, but then I still can't move, which is like the worst. But then that kind of dispels the like scary nightmare part, you know, when you realize you're awake and then you're like, oh fuck, I have sleep paralysis, and then it's just like and then you kind of stop being freaked out, and then it's just like, I mean, it's still like scary not to be able to move. It's really weird to be conscious and not be able to move.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, but I can kind of do the same thing where I can kind of like move my hands just a tiny bit, you know, like and kind of like clench my hands and unclench them or whatever. And if I do that, I've learned that if I do that enough, like I will eventually regain control of my hands, and then if I regain control of my hands, it's all over.
Yeah.
For you haters.
Once I get control of my hands back, it's on site.
Yeah, I'm like, that's right, it's on site. And once you dream haters, you dream goblins, you know, like you dream Democrats, you know, it's all over for you once my hands move again.
All right, Izzy, you've never had it, but you have a relevant tale about it, right?
I do have a relevant tale about it. When I lived in Denver for 2 years, about 2 years ago, and the house I moved into was underneath a Masonic church, and it had once been owned by a local clown named Blinky.
Ugh.
Oh.
It was like a warehouse / doctor's office. It had been a doctor's office in the 50s, and it was in this commercial zone. It was next door to a goth store, an amazing goth store, and I actually had my mail delivered there. But the house was owned by, like I said, local clown Blinky, and he had an antique shop there.
Were you jealous that you had competition for the title of local clown?
I was jealous. Because I left my title in Bloomington.
Many people have since taken up the mantle in Bloomington.
Hey, listen, after you left, I had an experience which I feel like confirmed that I was local clown, which was when one day I was leaving work, and it was when I was growing my hair out, and it was kind of in an awkward, puffy phase, and I was walking out of work, and a car was at an intersection on College, and a guy leaned out the window and went, "Hey, look, that guy looks like Sideshow Bob." And I turned around to look behind me, only to discover that no one was there. It was empty. It was like no one else was on the sidewalk at the intersection, and that he meant me.
Brutal.
One of the best ever like roasts. One of the best ever disses I've received, especially from a stranger.
Pretty good.
And I really went, oh man, I want to see this. Like, it was my first thought. I was like, I want to see the guy that looks like Sideshow Bob. Only to discover it was me as they pulled away laughing. Drove away into the night.
All right, Izzy, tell us about Blinky.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That was very good.
So Blinky's house, like, it kind of felt like a fun house. Like, the sink was bright yellow, and the walls were painted bright blue. There was a utility hallway that went to the alley, and between my entrance and the exit, there was this huge grate that went down to a basement, but it was locked from, like, the inside. And we'd, like, hear sounds down there sometimes, like someone walking around. And also in the door between the grate and then the entrance to my house, there was a human-sized, like, not a human, like a hand-sized hole cut out of the door as if you would, like, reach in and then turn the knob.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a creepy, like, fun, creepy place. And there was a spare room that my roommate and I kept open for artists to, like, come stay with us and make work, because we lived in a print shop. And 2 different artists were staying in that room, and both of them had said independently of one another that they had sleep paralysis in that dream, and they dreamed that in the closet was a man standing and watching them sleep.
Oh my god.
And the closet went to an attic that we couldn't access.
God.
I did once sleep in that room, but maybe nothing happened to me because I'm not an artist.
So I used to live in a house on West 9th in Bloomington.
Uh-huh.
And when I first moved into that house, I slept in the side room. My bedroom was the side room that was like, it used to be a porch, obviously.
It was
that
like
had been,
the
you know,
wettest
insulated.
room imaginable.
Yeah. It had a tile floor, it was damp, and it was about 5 feet wide and, I don't know, 12 feet long.
I remember once we lifted up your mattress and it was just like black mold
Wet.
underneath.
Black mold. Yeah, it was just like water seeping in from the ground, I assume, because all those houses over there have like cinder block foundations.
It was horrible.
Like they're not even real foundations over there.
Was that house haunted? I remember there's a creepy attic.
So some of my like worst sleep paralysis experiences were in that room, in that house, and I had a recurring nightmare that somebody. Oh yeah, and by the way, definitely used to be a side porch that was probably open and kind of lazily converted to a storage room or whatever that then became my bedroom.
Yeah.
But because it had a door to the outside.
Yeah.
In the middle of it, and the door had, you know, it was like a standard whatever door to the front of your house, but it was on the side of the house, and you know, like the windows, the 4 windows. I had a recurring dream that I was like laying in bed trying to fall asleep, which by the way, those are the worst fucking nightmares where you're already in bed in your nightmare. And it's not even, it's like, man, this is believable. Why would you do this to me, brain?
Yeah.
Why would you wang me up like this? You know? But yeah, like I used to have this recurring dream where I'd be laying in bed trying to fall asleep and I would hear like a scratching noise at the window to the door to the outside, and I would look and there would be like a weird, like hunched over pale figure of a bald guy, like wearing all black, like I mean, it's like cheesy, but like, you know, like spooky shriveled up, bald, pale, some kind of gray looking dude. Ugh. Scraping like long fingernails, like scraping at the window,
like Nosferatu.
Yeah, kind of like a less exaggerated Nosferatu, and then that's when I would learn that I have sleep paralysis, and I wouldn't be able to move, and I'd be like freaking out, and I'd be like, oh, it's this one again, you know. And then I would, but that happened like 4 or 5 times, and I never had that dream again. Probably because I left that room, and it wouldn't have made any sense. But
it was pretty cursed.
Pretty cursed, but it just reminds me of that.
Izzy, did anything
at the clown house?
Yeah, I remember there's like something else you were gonna say about how it being scary.
Oh yeah, at the clown house, the sleep paralysis room and my room shared a door. The lease was like almost over. I opened that door and like I extended my room into that other room. And after I did that, I started having these repeat nightmares that a man was trying to choke me to death.
God.
Oh my God.
What did that clown do? Or what was done to that clown?
Right? Oh, that's a good angle. Maybe the clown's the victim.
We don't know.
Hey, HBO.
Get this.
I'm available right now. Actually, I'm not really doing much with my time right now. HBO, what's up? You know what's funny? Like, I almost moved into a clown house myself when I was a teen. Just as an aside, I know I do a lot of asides here on this podcast. Bimbo Summit. Yeah.
What's
sorry, I do 4 podcasts now.
Wait, there's a clown house in Bloomington?
No. This is in Maryland. So when my family left Bloomington to move to
a clown house.
Yeah, but we were moving to Maryland and we were looking at houses to rent, and at the time there weren't very many houses, I guess, that were like on the market to rent urgently in the DC suburbs area. And one of them was like just outside Rockville, Maryland, which, you know, is amazing for those of you who are familiar with the area. It's a suburb of DC.
Yeah, there's even an REM song about how you shouldn't go there.
Is it really?
I don't know if they mean
That's Me in the Corner.
Yeah, it's that song. No, there's an REM song called Don't Go Back to Rockville, but I don't know if it's Rockville, Maryland, or if they're talking about a different Rockville. Maybe like the Rockville.
Fuck that. They have a micro center
where rock and roll gets made.
They have a great mall.
Rockville? I never went to Rockville when I lived in Maryland.
Rockville, the Greenwood of Maryland. But yeah, anyway, we looked at this house, and my parents, I remember like driving over there and my parents being like, this is so cheap, what's wrong with this house, why is this so cheap? Because like everything else in that area was like crazy expensive, and they were like, this is gonna be the one, you know, like we can live with some quirks. And like we went through the upstairs and it looked, you know, it was like fine, it was like there were a couple, you know, there was like some stupid carpet, nothing that was like a deal breaker, right? Looked pretty nice, like, you know, looked okay. And then we went down into the basement, And the person showing it was like, oh, you gotta, it's like, okay, I know this is a little weird, but like, it's a basement, so try not to worry about it or whatever. We go down there, and it everything was a primary color. There were murals of clowns everywhere. There was like a rubber floor that was like blue and yellow tile, or like blue and yellow like rubber, like in like a YMCA rec room almost.
Yeah.
And I guess according to the leasing person, it used to be a daycare. Mm-hmm. Like somebody had was operating a daycare on the side in their furnished basement or whatever. And there was like...
And they didn't change it when they were trying to sell it?
Yeah, what kind of dumbass realtor wouldn't just paint over all that?
Because it's not a realtor we were renting. It's a landlord. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, somebody will take it. We're scamming you. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, right.
But there were like 3 clown murals, like floor to ceiling clown murals. And then they were like, I know it's weird, but it's a basement. It's not like you have to go down here every day. Ha ha ha. And like some people think it's fun. And like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, this kind of rules. And my parents were not okay. And then, but they were like, but there is a upside. And then they took us into a side room in the basement, and there was a jacuzzi. There was like a hot tub in the basement.
That's where they boil the kids.
In the clown room. But it's like, it was in the part that used to be a daycare. There was like a jacuzzi hot tub thing, and even in that room, like the walls were still like clown colors and shit. Like,
I don't like that.
I don't think little kids can even get in hot tubs. Doesn't it boil them?
I mean, I have to assume.
Their little bodies.
Yeah, it's like turns into baby soup.
You can't boil a baby's skull, Sarah.
Yeah, you can't put like a toddler in a hot tub. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you're pregnant, you can't go in a hot tub, so I don't think a baby can go in a hot tub either.
I don't get that connection, but
yeah, I don't get that logic at all.
I don't understand the logic there.
Because when you're pregnant, there's a baby in you, dumbasses.
We didn't play the call, did we?
No, we have not played the call yet.
No, so we're talking about sleep paralysis because we got a call about sleep paralysis.
Yeah, well, we just did a very long intro to the call, which I'm now going to play.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Let's hear it, DJ.
All right. What's my DJ name?
DJ SARS.
That's right.
With a Z.
On the ones and twos, here I go.
Hey, bimbos. This is Zach from Denver, Colorado, longtime listener, first-time caller. I don't know if I can't really remember, but I don't know if you guys ever did a episode on sleep paralysis, but my brother for a while had sleep paralysis episodes. I didn't know anything about it, and then he described to me what they were, and he described that there was these looming dark figures that would kind of linger around his bed that would just sort of he described them as being like evil incarnate, and there was one in particular that he was terrified of, which was this he described it as this man in a wide-brimmed dark hat, and he drew a picture of him for me, and it was terrifying. Later on, he told me that one of the last episodes he had was the closest the hatted figure had gotten to him, which means that they were progressively getting closer and closer with each episode. And he just recalls taunting the figure and screaming at him, being like, "Kill me, just kill me," and these horrible things. And then they just went away. He never was bothered by the terrible darkness ever again. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this, and then I watched this documentary on sleep paralysis, and all of these people in the documentary were describing the same thing, like a man in a hat, and it was terrifying, and I was like, oh God, the devil, it's real or something. And anyway, if you guys should do one on sleep paralysis if you haven't already. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Very funny, very fun. Major highlight to my day. Thanks so much. Bye.
Wow. Well, Zach, thank you so much. Your timing is just slightly off because the funny part is we just did this episode about sleep paralysis just now, and we got this call seconds after we finished. Anyway, this has been Bimbo Summit.
Certainly not the impetus for us
No,
doing the
Zach,
episode.
does your brother live at 19 South Broadway, which is where I lived?
Do people from Colorado
Maybe they're
say
related.
Colorado? Is that
Zach,
the
does your
correct...
brother live in a former clown-themed daycare center in the outskirts of Rockville, Maryland? No, that's scary. Also, that kind of tracks with my experience. I would describe the figure that scratched at the door to my old room as being a dark, looming, hooded figure, in my case, actually. A very, tacky, knockoff Voldemort sort of looking guy.
Do you think there's any possibility that what we're seeing is a look into a different dimension?
Or it's like a collective unconscious thing where we have some kind of primordial idea of what evil looks like, either because that is real or because we all are kind of fear the same thing. We're all kind of animals who are scared of the same basic idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like an alternate dimension explanation for ghosts and stuff like that. It's definitely an interesting possibility to explore. But why? So if it is an alternate dimension, then why does it look like that?
Because scary stuff, Sarah. I don't know. Zach Bagans.
That's scary dimension.
It is scary. I mean, it's the idea that everyone, or it's so common, what people dream about, and that it's specific. If it was just oh, everyone sees dark shadows and hears weird voices that are indistinct, that wouldn't be quite so remarkable. But the fact that it's a pretty specific vision that many people share.
In olden times, they had paintings of an imp sitting on someone's chest.
Yeah,
Mars.
The Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many cultures have the same idea about that.
It's funny because I was just looking at that sleep paralysis related art. But yeah, it's maybe our fears have shifted over time because now it's does it say something interesting that now our fear is a looming human figure and before it was a little goblin sitting on your chest? Or
I think that is social commentary.
Yeah, or in the case of owls in The Sleep of Reason Produces Monsters by De Goya. It looks like a bunch of owls attacking a sleeping person.
Wow, Dylan, you really know your art history.
Hey.
Yeah, I got an F in it. Do you think that if the sleep paralysis looming figures and demons and owls come from a different dimension, is that the same dimension as Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Is that the same dimension, or are there more than one other dimensions?
Well, there's more than one, but Bigfoot and the scary loomy guy and the owls probably come from the same one.
You think they're roommates?
In the dimension.
Comedy Central, I'm not doing much right now. If you want to develop a pilot about an extra-dimensional roommate comedy with a Bigfoot, a little goblin that sits on people's chests, and looming guy. Fuck, I just invented Monsters, Inc. Never mind. Kill it. Shut it down. It's Monsters, Inc.
Stolas from the Stolas, the Great Prince of Hell, from the Lesser Key of Solomon, or...
I haven't played Diablo 3.
No,
is that in Diablo 3?
He's a demon from hell.
Why
Hit me up if you want to play Diablo 3 with me. I'm looking to get into it, but I don't really have any
listen.
You can't shame me just because I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Lesser Key of Solomon is this witchcraft book from, I don't know, a long time ago. It's a book of demonology. It's from the 1600s. And one of the demons of hell... this is where Paimon and all that stuff comes from, or the reason why most of us know about it is from this. But Stolas is the Prince of Hell, and he's a little owl with super long legs and a crown. He's very cute.
Aww.
So when you say owl, that's what I'm imagining. Here, I'll
No, they're
send
just
you a pic.
owls. They're just they look
Shout
like
out to
regular
Stolas,
owls.
friend of the pod.
Stolas is a friend of the pod. He's so cute.
Stolas.
Look.
Is that you sure that's not from Diablo? Because they had Ball and
Well,
Diablo
just because it's
and the
in
other
Diablo
one.
doesn't mean it's from Diablo.
and they've got Deckard Cain. Remember Deckard Cain?
Shut up.
He's you go up to him and you try to sell your items or whatever. He tells you what to do and he goes, "Hello there."
Perching
Because
on the
it's
Anne
1998.
Struthers' bedroom windowsill and hooting had seemed like frightening fun to the demon Stolas, but what he saw through the window would prove hard to ever forget.
I saw my demon
What
through
was
a
it?
window.
You
I
did?
don't know.
Well, I mean, my sleep paralysis, the guy
I
was
know.
over behind a window, and then he would usually like break one of the window panes, and then I would wake up, but then I couldn't move.
Oh my god.
He'd be scratching, and I'd be like, "You can't get in here, you fucking nerd. You dollar store Voldemort." And then he would just sort of go, "Shh," and I'd be like, "Ah, shit." And then I'd wake up, but then I couldn't move. So that's probably Stolas from Diablo
Sarah,
3.
have you had sleep paralysis before?
Yeah, I talked about it. What were you doing?
Wait, what did you say?
I said that. Jesus
You weren't
Christ.
memorable.
It wasn't that interesting.
No, it was. I've never had like. I get it a little bit like if I wake up in the middle of the night.
Oh, you just said that you like when you're napping. You didn't say what you saw.
Well, I didn't. I never have seen anything. I just
so.
feel paralyzed and I have to wiggle until it goes away. And one time I heard voices.
You wiggle?
I wiggle my toes. I will myself to wiggle my toes, and that breaks it.
Okay, sorry I wasn't listening, but to be fair, that wasn't memorable.
It was. I've never had anything like interesting happen. But Stolas, the cute little owl, commands 26 legions of demons. He teaches astronomy and is knowledgeable about herbs, plants, and precious stones.
Oh my god, he's so cute.
I knew you'd like him.
Aww.
Did you know that one of the great marquises of hell has the head of an owl and the body of a naked guy?
What?
Andrus.
What part of the Bible is that? What are you talking
The
about?
Lesser Key of Solomon. It's not the Bible.
Yeah, where in the Bible is this dumb owl?
Is that a Leonard Cohen song? What are you talking about?
Andrus is a grand marquise of hell, appearing with a winged angel's body and the head of an owl or raven, riding upon a strong black wolf, and wielding
Which
a
one
sharp
am
and
I?
bright sword.
Which one am I?
Ooh, we should make a quiz that's like,
Tag yourself.
yeah, which demon from the Lesser Key of Solomon are you? I know I'm Stolas. You might be Furcus, Dylan. Furcus has.
What the hell are you talking about?
Furcus.
You're Furcus, haha, you're
Here's
Furcus.
from Johann
Furcus.
Weyer
You're
in
Furcus.
1583.
You're Furcus.
Don't you want to
You're
know what
Furcus.
Furcus
I don't know what that
looks
means,
like?
but I'm pissed.
You fuckers, listen. Furcus is a knight and cometh forth in the similitude of a cruel man.
Cometh.
With a long
Dylan,
beard
you're Furcus.
and a hoary head. He sitteth on a pale horse, carrying in his hand
Furcus.
a sharp weapon. He perfectile teacheth practice, philosophy, rhetoric, logic, astronomy, chiromancy, pyromancy, and their parts. There obey
That's
him
you.
20 legions. That's you.
God, they were such
Furcus.
bad writers back
Do you want to
then.
see Furcus? You're going to think he's really funny.
This does
I
look
already-
just like me. Actually, I will say it's like you drew me on a horse. This is basically me. Yeah. If we meet our goal of 50 patrons, Sarah will wear a fruit basket on her head for a whole week.
A whole week.
That's right. We'll strap it to her head.
I was ready to say yes to this until that last part.
A whole bunch of fresh, a big basket of fruit.
Like
Yeah,
attached
is
to
a
a...
cellophane on top
bike
so it
helmet?
doesn't fall over when
No,
she sleeps.
no. I mean, it's continuously refilled, probably by us.
It would be funnier
And,
if it wasn't refilled.
No, because there's just a basket on your head.
No,
That's
no,
not
like
funny.
Yeah.
you put fruit in it once, and then I had to keep the same fruit for a week.
No, it's like you like go to work or walk around. There's just fresh fruit, and people get to eat of your hat.
Yeah, and it said you have to wear a shirt that says "Eat up my hat."
That's the goal. 50 patrons. Sarah's gonna wear a big fresh fruit basket on her head.
Even though the gods are crazy.
Even though the stars are blind.
If you show me real love, baby, I'll show you mine.
Oh,
Nice. Wow.
Wow.
First time you said
a
it.
classic.
I got it right. Did I get
You
it right?
did.
Yeah, you did.
Who's that at the window scratching at my door, waking me up from a deep slumber? Who's that standing at the foot of my bed, lemon in